everyone, it's Sean from Wot Up, and welcome back to another video. Now, we have something really very exciting today, and it's been a long time since we've had something like this on the channel, and that is some leaked set pictures. These come to us courtesy of Narg from the Daily Trolloc, and I've left a link to his Instagram down below in the description box if you want to follow him. He puts out all kinds of Wheel of Time content, and occasionally, just occasionally, he'll put out some leaks too, and they really are very neat, so go check him out. Now, a couple of things before we get into the video. The first thing is I was able to reach out to a couple of my contacts and get some amplifying information on these images. So I should be able to tell you what we're seeing here with at least a degree of certainty. Now, the other thing is if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please click that subscribe button. I usually put out 1 to 2 videos per week, and they're all Wheel of Time centric. So I cover rumors, leaks, castings, pictures, all kinds of stuff, pretty much anything and everything to do with the Wheel of Time show. And I have a new contest coming up too, and if you're not a subscriber, you can't be entered, so make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Now, before we get into the video, spoiler warning, I am going to be showing you some images that were leaked purportedly from the Wheel of Time set in the Czech Republic. So, if this in any way, shape, or form will ruin your viewing pleasure of the first season when it does come out, be forewarned, I'm going to spoil that for you. Also, we're going to be talking just a bit about a few of the cities in the Wheel of Time, so if you haven't already read at least the first 2 books of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, that is The Eye of the World and The Great Hunt, be forewarned, I may spoil some things from them as well. Alright, with that being said, let's get on to the video. Alright, so we're going to look at a few pictures here, and I'm going to give some amplifying information as we go through them from my contacts that are close to the production. Now, these people were able to give me little bits of information here and there, and they could say with a high degree of certainty that these are from a set that was built for the Wheel of Time in the Czech Republic, and they're pretty very, very neat. But before I do actually show the images, I want to let you know that even though my contacts are saying certain things, even though these are coming from Narg, who has leaked a whole lot of stuff about the Wheel of Time, please take these with a grain of salt, because we can't be sure if they are 100% from the Wheel of Time production, because Amazon hasn't officially released them, even though we're getting a whole lot of circumstantial evidence basically telling us that they are. So there's that. So that's my little take this with a grain of salt before we get started. All right, so the first image is just some stone buildings. Now, I want to let you know that when I reached out to my contacts, they told me a couple of different things. And the first thing was that this is a set. This was constructed. So this is not actual real buildings that are in the Czech Republic or on location. This is a set that they built for the Wheel of Time in the back lot of the studio. Now, that alone makes these pictures absolutely amazing. Because, I mean, they built these buildings. These were not, a town they found on location somewhere and went, oh, these are really neat, we're going to use this. They built this set for the production. Now, these first buildings here, they look to be just gray stone, but I mean, if you look at some of the details, they're really well done, especially for something that was built just to show for the show. That's pretty much all it was built for. So I'm pretty excited when I saw these. Now, I will mention something. As we're going through these pictures, they look cropped. So none of them look like a full picture, and that's probably because Narg took the full pictures, cropped them down, and kind of crammed them together on Instagram. What he left out, I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that they are not the full images. So we're not seeing the full picture here, and there may be a reason for that. So as we keep going through these pictures, we look at this one. This looks absolutely beautiful. Now, I will tell you that one of my contacts did let me know which city this is, and I'll get into that near the end of the video, so stay tuned towards the end for that. But man, and if you look at it, you see these wheel constructions in the architecture, and they have been shown a few times before in other leaked images from the set and from on location. So I'm fairly sure that these buildings kind of fit into the Wheel of Time world, and they just look absolutely amazing. Now, I am getting sort of a Mediterranean or perhaps North African vibe from these buildings, but they're really very neat, and they're really well constructed, and you can see a lot of detail and attention to detail rather went into making these buildings. Now, if we go on to the next picture here, it's just a zoomed in shot here. We're seeing some of this, this basic filigree or extra artwork around these windows, and it gives you a better shot of those wheel shapes underneath. And man, it's beautiful. It does make it feel like I'm stepping into a really old city in Europe, where they took a lot of time and attention and detail to the buildings. I've been to a few cities in Europe, and they're beautiful and gorgeous to behold in person. Pictures don't generally do it justice, so I'm really excited to see this on screen when they show everything else. Now we get a little bit closer here down at the bottom. You see these columns. Now this sort of looks like what you see in a market or a bazaar or a shop in one of the bigger cities in the Middle East. Now this is really very neat and really very cool. I like it a lot. I'm getting very Moroccan vibes from this, and it's super, super cool. Now we're going to look at these last couple columns here. I have a few more images left, but basically displays all of the same things. The attention to detail, the craftsmanship, and all of the little bits of artwork that went into these is just, it blows me away, especially considering that I've been told this was a set constructed specifically for the show, which, wow, that's I'm getting goosebumps looking at them. I can't wait to see this on screen. Now, I did mention that I was told which city this is probably from, and that is from my contacts close to the production, and they let me know that this is, with a very high degree of certainty, Tar-Valon. Now that's really very neat. Now we already know we're going to see Tar-Valon in the first season because we've had a few leaks and a few other things here and there that have basically pointed towards seeing that city in the first season. Now we don't know if it's for flashbacks. We don't know if it fits into the main storyline. We're not entirely sure how or in what context we're going to see the city. However, we do know that we will see Tar-Valon, and it does make a whole lot of sense because Rafe Judkins has said in an interview that if he was only given a few cities, they had to pick and choose on what they're going to cut and what they're going to keep. And it does make sense that they were going to cut a few of the cities. Now, we haven't seen any of the castings for the Andorian Royals yet, and we haven't had any real indication that they're going to be in Camelin in any way, shape, or form, other than the casting of Basil Gill. Now, he can be fit in pretty much anywhere else as well. So, in the fandom, there's been this general vibe that we're probably not going to see Camelin at all because we've heard almost nothing about it. And we've also heard almost nothing about Berlin. In fact, I don't think I've heard anything about Berlin at all. So Berlin is most likely cut. We're looking at probably Camelin being cut, and that leaves us with just a few other cities they visit in the first season, or in the first book rather, in the Eye of the World, and that would be Shadar Logoth, which we've seen some imagery and we've seen in the teaser with Nat's Dagger that we're probably going to see that. And Faldera, which we've seen from leaked set photos and some leaked castings and stuff, that we're probably going to see Faldera as well. So that only leaves a few other major cities. Now, I know what you're saying, John, but we don't see Tar-Valon in the Eye of the World. No, we don't. We don't see it there, but it is a very central city to the story. We see it a whole lot. It pops up in almost every book thereafter. There are scenes in every single book, including in New Spring. And it does make sense. If they're going to build a set and spend the time and the money, they're going to build something we're going to spend a lot of time in early on and kind of shift the focus to that and keep going throughout the rest of the season and the series. So it's my guess, and like I said, I've been told that this is Tar-Valon, so here's to hoping, although I do think this is rather very beautiful. And it does make a whole lot of sense if you take a look at these images, because Tar-Valon was a major trade hub. You have 6 bridges in and out, and they are basically one of the major trade hubs for the entire Randland. So all of the Westlands trades with Tar-Valon, and all of the trade kind of goes through there, up and down the river, and it does make sense that they would have a lot of different vibes and a lot of different influence on the culture and the way things look in Tar-Valon. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lot of the buildings, the spires, the towers and stuff in Tar-Valon were all Ogier built, and should be looking at very organic, very flowy, very, very neat things. I mean, the fish market itself was just based on a school of fish in Tar-Valon, among other things. If you look through the descriptions and stuff, there's some really very neat things. Now that's probably going to be very hard to build, so we may see some of that eventually in post or other things that they're going to do later on in other seasons. But if they're doing a few quick shots here and there in the first season, or if they're doing a few scenes here, it does make sense to show this type of architecture where there's a lot of vine-like structures, a lot of flowy nature-type structures to it. So I can definitely get the vibe that this is Ogier built. And again, without using full CG all the time, it'll be very hard to represent something that is supposed to be the pinnacle of architecture without, ruining the rest of the show. So I'm thinking that this is probably, like my contact said, Tar-Valon. Now we're getting to these, and when you see some of these, the colors themselves just blow me away. Like you see a lot of muted oranges and yellows, and then you see these bright, vibrant blues, and you see a lot of plants, you see a lot of vegetation, and you see a lot of those vine-like carvings on the balconies and stuff. I think it's very, very neat, and a very well-constructed set at that. So, That's what I have for you. Basically, one of my contacts let me know that this is most likely Tarvlon. It's most likely from the Wheel of Time production. Again, take that with a grain of salt because it's not official from Amazon, but these pictures are absolutely beautiful and does give us something, a little something to geek over while we're waiting on a trailer or any other official information from the Wheel of Time in Amazon Prime, because we haven't gotten much lately. So any little bit that comes out is a big boost for morale of the fandom, and we all get to like kind of pour over it and geek over it a whole bunch. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is my source or my contacts far off? Do you think it might be another city? Are we still going to see Camelin? Are we still going to see maybe Berlin? Could this be maybe Ebu Dar? Some people have mentioned on Instagram. I don't think so. I'm going to go with my contacts and say it's most likely Tarvalon. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And let me know what you think of the pictures themselves. Like, the construction, the set itself, yeah, really very cool in my opinion, but let me know what you folks think. All right, I want to thank you so much for sticking with me here to the very end, and here's to many more.